Hello, everyone on Facebook.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Thousands of Arizonans already joined Desert Connection, located inside the Dixon Wall.
And a big thank you to our Community Spotlight sponsor, Desert Financial Credit Union. Good morning. Chris Higgins in the studio this morning, filling in for Mr. Randy Roberson, who is down in Tonga Basin and on the other side of the river. Some mornings he can make it across the river, but other mornings he cannot. And he didn't want a chance this morning, so it's better to be safe than sorry. It is the first Tuesday of the month, so you know what time that is?
Second.
Thank you for keeping me
It's
straight.
the first
Erlene
Tuesday
and
of this
Donna-Lynn.
week.
Yes, it is the first Tuesday of the week, second Tuesday of the month, which means it is Secrets of Healthy, Happy People. Again, that is the second Tuesday of each month, and you can listen right here on KRIM, or you can watch it on the KRIM FM Facebook page. So if you're on there right now, send us some message, and hopefully you have some questions or comments, input, experiences that you would like to share. You can do that on the KRIM FM Facebook page. So good morning to Erlene Tilton and Donna-Lynn Williams.
Good morning.
How are
Good
you?
morning. Glad to be here.
Yeah, how are both of you doing today?
Great.
Great.
Awesome.
Enjoying the nice overcast weather?
Loving it. Yes.
It
Would
feels-
like some rain, but this is
Mhm.
really nice.
Well, we have got a lot of rain. Boy, we've got a lot of rain. Yeah, one
We got
more?
a lot all night down
Yeah.
in Young, so
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, it was good rain
Good rain?
Oh, good.
all night. It rained all night.
Hey, very nice, very nice. So, if you haven't tuned in before to one of the Secrets of Healthy, Happy People programs, you know that Erlene and Donna-Lynn talk about health, and just overall health, and how we all can be a little bit healthier. So
Right.
today, what is the topic for today?
We decided to label it the downside of Fruit Loop and Fishy Cracker Kids.
Downside of Fruit Loop and Fishy Cracker Kids. Wow.
Yes.
That's probably, a
Well,
few.
we just felt like this is such an important topic as
Mhm.
kids are going back to school, and moms always wonder, why sometimes are my children not behaving? Why do they have so many learning disabilities, and there's so many kids that are in this category, and
Mhm.
there's so much moms can do
Mhm.
to actually support their brains.
Mhm.
And I think moms feel lost. So we just hope the moms will turn in and really take this topic serious, because it is super important to really understand you have a lot within your power,
Mhm.
what you can do for your children.
Yes, and so food, and I know you mentioned this in your programs. It's fuel for our bodies.
Absolutely.
And
for our brains.
And our brains.
Yeah.
So our bodies, our brains, our immune system, just
Absolutely.
everything, our entire body.
And not even what you're putting into your system, but what's in your environment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, we could have a million shows just on the chemicals, the cleaning products,
Mm-hmm.
chemicals in your sheet. The pajamas that kids wear, depending on where you buy them,
Mm-hmm.
can be giving like off-gassing
Mhm.
your children in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's loaded.
But focusing on food,
Right.
the fuel, and that is very important. And a lot of times people just look at food all the same. So Fruit
Yeah.
Loops and fish crackers the same as an
As
apple,
long as
or
Fills the children and keeps them quiet, then that's okay.
And it's
Mhm.
convenient
Mhm.
and, cheap,
Mhm.
maybe.
And that's another thing. If you haven't tuned in, we're not doing that today, but usually it's an hour-long program where after the first half hour on the radio and on Facebook, we go into the kitchen, and you and Donna-Lynn show our viewers, listeners, different recipes and how to make nutritious, yet just simple meals.
Mhm. We do have a handout though, and we'll talk about this a little bit more at the end. So
Mhm.
since we're not going in the kitchen today, we do have a handout, and hopefully this will help moms.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to start kind of today with sharing two different studies by Barbara Reed Stitt.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the first study, she was a parole officer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure exactly where she was, but she was a parole officer for 20 years. And she started her journey as a parole officer with her own broken health. And she felt like she struggled to get enough sleep and to be very present with these parolees. And she was struggling emotionally and physically herself. And so she did a lot of research. Everything that they were giving her wasn't working. She did a lot of research, and she says, it's got to be diet. And so she changed her eating, and she felt so much different.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, you know what? How is this going to work with the parolees I work with? And so what she did is, as she had these parolees that came in, the number one thing she did was she studied their diet. And she said 100% of them, 100% of them were junk food eaters. She said she would go into their homes, basically where they came from before they, or while they were before they ended up in jail or prison. And she said, I would see what they were eating, and it was just nothing but white bread and pasta and Kool-Aid, soft drinks, beer, coffee, but there was nothing of nutritive value at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the first thing she did. She said, okay, one of the biggest things that you're going to do is you're going to change your diet.
Mm-hmm.
And she had all these list of requirements that they had to do, you know, lots of fresh food and lean, you know, meats and just real foods.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what they had to do as far as their specific correction. And she said she had 100% success rate of those that stuck with the program that she outlined.
Wow.
100%.
And now this book is titled
Food and Behavior
Food
by
and Behavior.
Barbara Reed Stitt.
Wow.
And you can get that on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing book.
Wow. So that definitely sounds like a book to look up if you want to, you know, read about that and probably all of the other stories and examples that she shares in that. I want to say hello to a few people watching. Clifford Lane, watching in Illinois. Love Clifford.
I'm a Chicago girl.
Yeah. Donna Lynn from Chicago, and then John Lewin up in Strawberry.
Hi, John.
Yeah, so hello guys. And so, yeah, it is just amazing. And just like you said, the nutrients. If the food that we're eating or what we're putting in our bodies doesn't have nutrients in it, then it isn't fuel, technically.
Right.
It's not fueling our bodies. I guess it is keeping us alive.
Exactly.
It's
not nourishing
but it's
us,
not
though.
nourishing. Yeah, it's
And
not
that's where
nourishing.
we have a breakdown of health. I've always said there's two reasons why we have disease, dysfunction, disorder. One is lack of nutrition, and the other one is excessive chemicals.
Mhm.
And this is that's a double negative with junk food. It lacks nutrition and it's full of chemicals. All junk food basically are all of our processed foods and all of the drinks that people have
Mhm.
are just full of chemicals. So you get that combination, it's a deadly combination, because that's where the emotional and mental challenges really stem from a good part of the time.
And you could go crazy looking into stuff like that. You could, you want to read labels, you see a chemical in there you're not sure of, you can look it up.
Mhm.
You could study it all the time, and maybe you should.
Mhm.
Maybe, not even for myself who doesn't have don't have children at home. But otherwise, the easiest thing to do is just to start with the simple natural foods.
Mhm.
Learn to make snacks that are, fresh fruits and vegetables. We have to be, for our children, an example.
Mhm.
They watch us, they will model their lives after us. So if we are, giving them processed foods, they're going to be eating them. You
Mhm.
break the cycle, integrating, these simpler foods, easy snacks, get them involved in making them. I mean, there are some chemicals that are so crazy. There's one, it's called percolate, I think is the right, it's in rocket fuel,
Mhm.
but they use it to break down the cereal so that they you know, like gluten also, you know, so that they aren't get clumped up, things like that. So, you know, that's certainly a convenience. And it's not that all these chemicals, like the nitrates and sugar alone is another big issue, but it's not that one of these things is going to change or cause a problem necessarily, but it's the combination and over the long period of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many. And everything everybody eats every day. If they would just eat more fruits and vegetables,
Exactly.
just more fruits and vegetables, that's a huge change for people. Just include more fruits and vegetables and start crowding out some of these other things and eat them instead. And I have so many parents that say, you know, they're just too expensive. And I'm going, really? Junk food isn't expensive?
Yeah, it's all expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand. And sometimes I get myself caught up. You know, you're looking at the, you know, you see like,
The
you know,
prices.
the prices of two different things, and you know one will probably be much better for you. And not always, and we could talk about that later, about the way things are marketed and what the labels say. They make you think you're getting something better, but really when you break it down. So we could talk about that in a bit, but
Well, and there was another study in that book, Food and Behavior.
Yes, actually, Barbara Reed went on to do another study, and it was actually, she lived in Wisconsin, and she did it with the Appleton, Wisconsin School District. So the whole district, she did this study with, and basically the first study, they did 2 meals. So breakfast, they provided breakfast for the whole school system, which included good proteins, you know, eggs and smoothies, lots of fruits and vegetables, a variety of whole grain items. And then they did lunch, and that was a big salad bar with, again, lots of vegetables and fruits and proteins and whole grains, kinds of things. Plus, they had that she called it an omega-3 drink that they introduced. I don't know, it's the kind of the mid-morning snack or whatever. They did the omega-3 drink, and they kind of did a study before and after of the kids, but she said after the study, wow, she says there was 0 dropouts, 0 expulsions, 0 crime, 0 people that were, you know, getting involved with drugs or any of these things. She said the grades went up 2 or 3 points, and the behavior in the school, I mean, the teachers, they couldn't believe the difference. Are you kidding me? Just food can make this big a difference in their grade averages going up, and in the, you know, wiping away out of these reform programs. They said that the reform programs actually cost more than it did to implement 2 healthy meals, plus a good omega-3 drink.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Anyway, she had a couple of quotes that I thought I would read because it was amazing. Trying to correct a person's misbehavior before he or she has an adequate diet is very much like trying to ride a bicycle without first filling up the tires with air, or driving a car without gasoline. It won't work, it can't. And then she said, a malnourished central nervous system will inevitably lead to serious physical and behavioral problems which no amount of medication or psychiatry can touch. And I thought, wow, you know, I mean, I loved her whole book. I loved her studies. I loved the work she did, because she really helped us understand how important food is for behavior. She had so many examples in her book, and it's just really incredible.
The example that came to my mind was, or just after listening to that, is trying to fix a vehicle with the wrong parts.
Yeah.
So if you're working on the vehicle and you're doing maintenance on it, or you're doing something, but you don't have the right parts, so it's not going to fix it. And that sounds similar.
Or not having a primer before you paint, so things don't adhere right. You have to get a foundation.
Yeah, without that foundation,
And the foundation is nutrition. And like I said, we've seen that basically poo-pooed and thrown out the window in our days, and just such an emphasis on convenience and fast foods, and we're suffering. Our children are the ones that are suffering more than any. But it's people of all ages. There's more suicide today than it's just unbelievable. It's really sad. And it really goes back to, are your children getting the right nutrients that will create a very strong cognitive brain? And we need to really understand that this is a problem in our society. People think it's not that big a deal until their your child commits suicide, or their
Becomes a
children.
bully.
Yes.
You push
There's
it
so
off.
many things.
You push it off as they're tired maybe, or they've been out in the sun too much, or their big brother has been picking on them. All these different behavior problems. But really, it probably is a lack of nutrition, I
And too
mean,
many chemicals.
right.
Well, giving to provide the ability for people, whether children or adults or whoever it is, to cope with those things. So, like you said, if you don't have that strong foundation, which involves other things as well, but the body and physical health is a
Right.
big part of that. And if you don't have that foundation, then how can you fend off or defend against all
Right.
these other things? And whether you're a child, an adult, or
Absolutely.
yeah.
The whole, kids, it's like a neurological, it's it's metabolism, it's all these different things are affected by the lack of.
There we go. And again, if you're just tuning in, it's Secrets of Healthy, Happy People with Earlene Tilton and Donna Lynn Williams. And not only is this on the radio, but we're on the KRIM FM Facebook page as well, so you can watch there, or the KRIM YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or any comments, feel free, to post a comment or a question. Have people watching, John Lewin again, watching this morning, Sylvia Smith, and a few others. So, let us know about your experience, or, as far as diet, health, how you feel when you're eating healthy and compared to when you're not. Because I think that's all of us. I mean, that's everyone. There's maybe phases, that where you get on, I don't want to say a kick, but
Right.
you kind of, all right, this is what I'm doing, and
Right.
you stay the course for a while, and then a little bit here, a little bit there, and then before you know it, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Mhm.
Yeah, easy for that to happen. And again, Earlene was referencing Barbara Stitt, author of the book Food and Behavior. So if you want to check that out.
Yeah.
She also mentions, she mentioned in the book nutrition, obviously, but chemicals, the impact of chemicals.
Chemicals. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Chemicals are definitely a threat, and they're in everything. I mean, not only are they in our food, they're in our drinks, sometimes even in our water. And they're, like Donna Lynn was saying, they're in our environment, our body care, our skin care, our sunscreens, and, our cleaning products, even in the supplements. I mean, it's terrible. Chemicals are in everything. And it's like, you have to be really proactive. Don't take anything at face value. Don't even read labels for sure, but don't
Be
think that,
disillusioned by what they might say, though.
because sometimes labels are very deceiving. So you've really got to do the research on what is in specific products. I like ewg.org. You can go in and kind of type in anything, find out if that is a safe product, and more than likely they've already done the research and they can tell you, oh, it's got these chemicals in it, or it's really clean and safe. So that's a great place to go. So.
And it's funny, you just mentioned, and we're going to talk about supplements as well. And I remembered looking at the outline that I needed to place an order for right there. It's
Your omega.
my omega, yeah. And that is a perfect example of, knowing or getting a cleaner product, where all omegas are not the same. So really, doing some research there, and not just going into
Buying what's on sale.
Yeah, buying what's on sale, or just cheap, or going into a big box store and just pulling what's on the shelf
Right.
there, and it's an omega-3, 369. And this is good.
I think that's where people, especially with children, just go and get the cheapest vitamin. They give them junk food and they say, well, I'm giving them a vitamin every day. Well, the vitamin may be completely synthetic. And they've got these gummy bear vitamins now, and it's like, do you know what you're giving your child? I mean, gummy bear with all that food coloring in it, it's like, okay, it's all synthetic, and it's like, okay, do you know what you're giving your child, So to me, it can be sometimes really daunting for parents, they're trying, but you have to be proactive. You've got to do the research. And that's what we're trying to do. We have a lot of resources that we can help guide people to, and this is why we're here. We're not here as a sales pitch, but we do have some resources that we can help you. So please reach out if we can help you, because we've seen, what works and what doesn't.
And speaking of that with children's, children's vitamins, even adult vitamins, a book that people might want to check out, it's called The Ridiculous Dietary Allowance. Because the RDA is the recommended dietary allowance, but it's just a book written by a couple doctors from the UK a while back, where just they quote and reference numerous studies that just show how we can and our body could use more nutrients, and not just what's recommended. So if you're looking at your vitamins and it says 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, those aren't good vitamins. Just bottom line, because it's not enough. It could be, maybe the brand's good, but usually a reputable brand won't be putting out vitamins that only have 100% of the RDA of, whatever vitamin it is. You want to be, 100 or 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and sometimes, talking to people, they see that, oh, that's too much. Oh my gosh, that's too much. It's like, with vitamins, it's wonderful. What your body doesn't need, it will excrete. But if your body does need it, then
But not
it's there.
always, because your body, if your gut isn't healthy, that's a whole nother subject. Your body isn't going to absorb it.
That's another show. That's
It's
another
another
show.
show.
Prebiotics, probiotics,
Totally.
another show. But
Right.
but with vitamins, just in general, you do want to be looking at a better quality vitamin. Will have higher amounts to where don't be scared or look at that and say, oh my gosh, this
They
is
don't
in
need
excess, or I don't need this, or it's not needed. Usually, and not with everything, not across the board. All of the vitamins that are in there in a multivitamin, but you will see some that are higher.
Well, and the other thing to me about supplements is, first, people need a good foundational multiple, a whole food multiple. I hear a lot of people saying, well, I take zinc, I take vitamin D. That's great for right now, but where's your multiple? Where's your foundational? And I like what you're drinking there, this, I don't remember what you called it, but
It has the hippie juice in it.
Right.
Yeah.
But the
So
fact
hippie
is,
juice and greens.
don't act like this one multiple is going to do it for the day either.
Yeah.
Make sure you're still eating well.
It's called a supplement,
Yeah,
not
supplement.
to take over.
Yeah.
It's not your only food.
Yes, and get a good supplement drink, maybe not energy drink, but a good supplement drink that has really a lot of good healthy nutrients. That's why I like to do smoothies in the morning. Take my supplements and healthy eating. So you really need it from a variety of sources. So.
No, that is very true. And yeah, so what else? Supplementation, essential oils also.
Yes,
You mix
and because we left decide not to do the kitchen today, I left my essential oils home, but there are several that are so important for kids. One is called vetiver. Vetiver, I love vetiver. It's great for adults. I mean, just put it on your temples. It's really good for focus and for being able to really concentrate. And for all
And
these
rosemary
kids,
is good like that too.
rosemary and frankincense. There's several blends. One is in tune, one is thinker, that are really good for children that are struggling. But I always say The essential oils are kind of the target support. They're not the foundational support. You need that foundational nutrition,
Mhm.
but this is the target support. This can help them day by day,
Mhm.
or even hour by hour, before they're taking a test. So we have some great essential oils can really help your children. And the wonderful thing about essential oils, they can be self-administered.
Mhm.
You don't have to have a prescription or a nurse agree or anything. They're not medicines, they are supplements. So a child can take it to school, rub it on their neck, rub it on their forehead, whatever, and they're okay. It's perfectly legal.
And doTERRA has the children's line of those that are maybe they've been diluted a little bit more or less, I should say, so that it's not like, people are afraid of this stuff, which is so crazy. But, they're made so that kids can do it themselves, a little anxiety or.
Yeah, to help with that. And your website, we want to make sure we give that to people because they can get information about
Sure.
the essential oils and application of
Right.
those oils.
Just go to ErleneTilton.com, which is ErleneTilton.com, or just go to dropbydropwellness.com to look for the essential oils and be able to get a discount, which is really helpful.
There you go.
So,
And then you wanted to share Angie's story.
yes, I had one story that is,
Mhm.
this is a powerful story that I love to share with people.
Mhm.
And this happened just probably 30 years ago. I was a hairdresser for many years. I did women in my home for many years. And during one period of time, probably about a year's time, this one woman would bring her granddaughter named Angie.
Mhm.
Now, Angie would come to our house, to play with my children, which was good, but she came through my house like a tornado.
Mhm.
Literally, the last time that I just, she literally just destroyed the house.
Mhm.
Long story short. And I said to her grandmother, I says, I just can't do this. It's a major cleanup every time she leaves. And she says, well, her mom can't either. And I'm going, oh, I get it. I'm giving, your mom is getting a little bit of relief and I'm having to pay for it kind of thing. So she says, well, she doesn't know what to do. She's, just so high strung with this child. I just try to help her out. And I said, well, is she open? And she says, she would do anything. And I said, okay, well, tell her to, and I just listed some things on my hand. I didn't even know if she'd take me serious, but I said, just take her off of the white sugar, take her off of white flour, take her off of milk products, and give her lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, anything whole, anything grain, make sure it's whole, and then, some good proteins. And basically I left it at, and drink water, lots of water for cleansing. And basically this little girl didn't come back for 3 weeks, but when she walked through the door, she went over to the toy cupboard, got some books, and went to the couch and sat down to read. And I'm going, oh my gosh, what happened?
Yeah.
And so I asked Marlene, I says, what happened? And she goes, her mom took you serious. And she says, she's a changed little girl. And, I watched her come over the next 8 months or so until she went into school at 5 years old. I watched her come and I'm going, oh my gosh, it was such a day and night difference. Seeing this child come in and I'm thinking, this child was a perfect candidate for ADD, ADHD, learning disabilities, behavioral problems, the whole gamut, all of the medications to calm her down. Her mother had had it with her, her grandma had had it with her.
You had it with her.
I had it with her. Her mom changed her diet and it changed her life.
Now, I know that there is probably no one listening or watching that has had an experience like that.
Probably not.
No, because every child, my own children included,
Perfect.
that I've encountered, are, behave to where you don't have to ever.
The
Raise your
interesting
voice or
thing
say
is I
anything.
connected with this girl on Facebook, 25 years later,
Yeah.
and I just kind of laughed, I tell your story so often, and she said, oh, my mom tells that story too, and I'm going, well, for you, and
Yeah.
she says it was life-changing. I
Yeah.
was grateful,
Wow.
and You know, it does matter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want to share with people. It does matter. We have a lot of examples and recipes we can share with people. Please email me,
Mhm.
ask@erleentilton.com. That's ERLEENTILTON.com.
There we go.
We have some ideas for you
Mhm.
that you can help introduce some healthy eating to your children.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast, lunches, snacks,
Absolutely.
whatever.
Mhm.
You know, not only is the food that we're talking about, but it's also the timing
Mhm.
of planning meals or snacks before kids get crazy hungry
Mhm.
or start acting out. I mean, it's all, you
Mhm.
know, it's kind of a dance.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we want to help if people need it. We hope soon we'll be starting some classes that we can really start educating
Mhm.
hands-on here in
Mhm.
Payson. More to come about that.
Ooh,
But
yeah. Mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
we want to be involved
Mhm.
and we want to help.
There we go. And again, the book that was referenced, if you want to get that title again, the author is Barbara Reed Stitt, and the book is Food and Behavior.
Mhm.
There we go. So, thank you so much, Erlene. Thank you, Donna Lynn. And again, the second Tuesday of every month, I got it right that time, is Secrets of Healthy, Happy People. And it is also on the KRIM FM Facebook page and YouTube channel, so you can watch it there as well. So, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Community Spotlight
Go
program.
Longhorns.
Yes, go with your Longhorn.
I got my
Cup.
Longhorn
I
Cup
love
today.
it. Yeah, August 27th, the first football game of the
Mhm.
season. So we're excited for that. And also, again, thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring the Community Spotlight program. Now it's time for your KRIM weather, brought to you by the National Weather Service.
Now with this morning's KRIM weather forecast for
There we
Payson
go.
surrounding areas on
There we go.
Good, good.
All right. The second Tuesday with Erlene and Donna Wynn.
Donna Wynn.
Donna Wynn.
First Tuesday.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I laugh also because the
Oh,
guy
I
that
forgot of all that. Here's
Oh.
my taster, so.
Oh.
I dated a
I'd have to
guy,
taste it.
did I mention that already? His last name was Lynn. His name was David, and I said, I don't think I could marry him because it would be David and Donna Lynn.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.